Alrighty, y'all. We are back. But we back. Live Center gotta pop up with his whatever it does real quick. So yeah, y'all, let's continue right where we left off without any further ado at all. Here we go.
So at 12 p.m., Pooh and a couple of his homies arrive to Bay Harbor Islands to meet up with Brandon.
Hopefully y'all
They
can hear
arrive
me,
in a black
okay?
Maybach, and they pull in right next to the McLaren. So Pooh Shiesty hops out, Brandon gets out to meet him, shows him the car, and then has him sit in the driver's seat. Of course, Brandon hops around, hops in the passenger seat, and begins to show him how to use the car. So while they're dealing with all this, Pooh is also awaiting a shoe guy to come sell him some shoes. 12:22 p.m. This shoe guy arrives in a Mercedes and backs in. Well, as soon as he pulls in, two of Pooh Shiesty's homies, Bobby and Jaden, hop out. And instead of buying shoes, they whip out guns and they begin to rob him.
Man, give me all the designer before I turn this Draco into Mercer.
As they're robbing him, one of them accidentally lets off a shot. Pow! And this is when Pooh gets the message. So while sitting in the McLaren, out of nowhere, he whips out a Draco and points it at Brandon. And as Brandon quickly tries to jump out of the car, Pooh lets off a shot. He hits him right in his butt. In the video, you can see Brandon running off holding his backside, which I don't even know how he did that. A 7.62 at close range? Whoo! But quickly, Pooh pulls out with the McLaren, speeds off, and then his homies speed off in the Maybach. However, while driving away, he leaves behind a duffel bag full of $40,000. But either way, they somehow get away and seemingly get away with this. Okay, first of all, let's just analyze how dumb the situation is. First of all, even though you arrive with $40,000 in cash and clearly are able to buy the shoes, your boys decide to rob the shoe guy for no reason. Then, for no reason at all, you decide to shoot the car guy in the butt with a Draco for no reason. Then you take off and leave a bag full of cash with all your fingerprints on it. Lord have mercy, dumb, and maybe even dumber than his dad, but yeah, I don't think his dad would have even done this. But again, because he saw his dad go his whole life committing crime after crime and not getting in trouble for real, and then he himself did the same thing and didn't really face consequences either, he thinks that he can just get away with this and it's no problem. Well, for the meantime, it's true. Pooh can simply do whatever he wants. And a month after this incident, he dropped the biggest song he's ever dropped.
Come get it, Back in Blood.
Back in Blood featuring Lil Durk absolutely takes over the country and even Europe as well. This not only makes Pooh Shiesty a sensation, but also a staple in the game. Now you might be thinking, all this success for such a bad dude, but maybe think twice about that. And now that introduces us to his brother. I now introduce you to Pooh Shiesty's half-brother by the name of Terrence Henderson, also known as T to P. Growing up, Pooh and T were like more than brothers, really best friends in the world. So when Pooh's career began to take off, T was of course excited, like I'm gonna be right next to you too. However, during this time, T began getting migraines that progressively got worse and worse. But despite all this, T did not want to go to the doctor. I mean, one, he didn't have health insurance, but also he's like, I'ma just thug this out. Well, eventually it would become excruciating, and after being rushed to the emergency room, doctors would discover brain cancer. Things are looking bad, and on top of this, because he doesn't have health insurance, it all has to come out of pocket. Surgeries and treatments that I'm talking at the minimum are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. When Pooh gets word of this, he doesn't even think twice, just pays it, boom. Handle anything you need to handle. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars just for the slim chance that his brother will survive. Sadly though, after many attempts to prolong his life, he passes away on February 18th, 2021. This of course devastates Pooh tremendously. My brother is gone just like that. But instead of sitting around moping, he decides to use this as motivation and do exactly what T would want him to do. Keep dropping hits and run up the millions. Well, because he only owns 20% of his streams, he's extra motivated to do a bunch of shows, clubs, walkthroughs, whatever he can to run it up. And that takes us to May 30th, 2021. It's a late Saturday night at the famous Miami club King of Diamonds, and Pooh Shiesty is set to perform a few songs for $30,000. So at 2 in the morning, he arrives with his crew. He pulls up to the club with a pistol in his waistband and $20,000 falling out of his pocket. Somehow, he makes it through security with no problems, and he hits the stage to perform. Well, while he's performing, a fan grabs at his pocket and his money falls down to the floor. Naturally, after seeing this, people go down and they begin picking up his money. Some people to hand it back to him and others to put it in their pockets. Pooh Shiesty is understandably pissed as he bends over to grab whoever's grabbing his money. And as he bends over, the club security see the gun on his waist. So the security approach him and they begin to escort him out of the club. Pooh Shiesty, being who he is not thrilled with this. So once he gets to the exit of the club, he whips out his blick and bang! He shoots one of the security guards in the ankle. He and his crew run to the car, spin off, and somehow seemingly get away with this. Once again doing wild ass shit for no reason and getting away with it. At this point, he's doing whatever the hell he wants, shooting a dude in the butt with a Draco in a McLaren, then driving away in the McLaren, then shooting a security guard in the foot for no reason. He's getting all the money in the world, all the love, the girls, the fame, everything, and he thinks that he just will never get in trouble for anything. But right in the midst of the biggest run in his career, the rooster comes home to crow. On July 7th, 2021, he's indicted by the feds.
South Florida rapper is facing a judge after police say that he was involved in an armed robbery. NBC6 reporter Claudia DeCampo has more on the charges he's facing.
He's an entertainer. He goes by the name Pooh Shiesty.
His real name is Lontrell Williams, and prosecutors say on October 9th, he was involved in an armed robbery in Bay Harbor Islands.
Several people agreed to meet 20-year-old Lontrell Williams.
Detectives said Williams arrived at a parking lot near East Bay Harbor Drive in Town Hall just before 2 in the afternoon. A black Mercedes Maybach followed and another black vehicle. Then, according to the arrest warrant, while the alleged victims were talking with Williams, 2 men from the other black car approached them with guns, shooting at them, and Williams allegedly pointed an assault rifle at one of them. Williams, aka Pooh Shiesty, is from Memphis and had recently signed on with recording label Gucci Mane's. Now he could face life in prison if convicted of armed robbery with a firearm, a charge that usually has no bond.
It ends up being attempted murder, armed robberies, shootings, conspiracies, you name it. And with these charges, facing over 60 years in prison. When the news breaks, everyone has 3 thoughts. Damn, so he wasn't capping in his lyrics. Wait, he's really dumb. Why would he do all that? Yeah, his life and career are definitely over. Bye-bye, you ruined it all. Go enjoy eating out of a tin tray for the rest of your life. And why everyone thought this? Well, firstly, it happened in Florida and they don't play, but secondly, the feds picked it up. Well, given the fact that he moved so sloppy and left a whole trail of evidence, everyone thought that, hey, he's just better take a plea deal. His lawyer thinks the same thing. There's really no way I can prove you're innocent. So instead, I can try to get sympathy for you and just hope they give you a lighter sentence. Your Honor, you see, my client had a really difficult life. He really doesn't know any better than the life he lives. His father was in and out of jail his entire life, and he grew up right in the middle of one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the world. He already went to juvenile hall at 11 years old, and then he was shot at 14, and then shot again at 17 years old. Then his music career takes off, and right in the midst of it, he loses his brother to cancer. If you give my client a second chance, I promise you he won't mess it up. Welp, the sympathy works, cause now instead of serving 60 years, he serves 63 months. Just a little over 5 years for 2 shootings and a robbery.
Thank him for his service.
Can't go wrong with that. So he begins his prison sentence on January 4th, 2022. Now, when most rappers go to prison, their careers pretty much die out. The next wave of rappers come along and everyone forgets you. But for Pooh Shiesty, even in prison, he remains relevant, because that's how big his impact was. It wasn't quite young boy levels, but somewhere in the stratosphere. So despite having to sit down for 5 years, the future is really bright, because when he gets out, he's going to be right back to it. Well, with that being said, we fast forward 11 months into his sentence when Pooh receives some devastating news. On December 22nd, 2022, his close friend and fellow 1017 rapper Big Scar passes away.
This is about a Memphis rapper connected to Young Dolph. Rapper Big Scar has died. This is what was posted by rapper Gucci Mane on his Instagram page. It shows a picture of Big Scar along with the caption that reads, "This hurts. I'm going to miss you." We are hearing the rapper died today. He was signed to Gucci Mane's label. Right now, we are working to learn how he died. Big Scar was about to go on tour with Key Glock next year. He was just 22 years old.
This, of course, devastates Shiesty,
22
but
years
then
old.
it turns into anger. Why? Because shortly after the passing, Pooh Shiesty would get word that Gucci Mane wants his 1017 chain back from Scar that he gave to him when he signed to his label. And apparently, Scar's family was taken aback by this. Like, damn, you gave him this chain when he signed to you. And now that he passes away tragically, you want it back from us? Man, that ain't right, bruh.
Allegedly, they said that Gucci asked for Scar's 1017 chains back after he passed away. And they said that Gucci really did nothing for the funeral or nothing for the family. And this is actually, we have audio of the brother and sister talking about it.
The minute that them folk called your phone to see if you gonna pay for the funeral, you blocked them. That's not real, cuz. On God, that's not real. You ain't straight, and you ain't getting them chains, cuz. It ain't no way that's happening. Thought we just gonna let that go, cuz. No, it's over. You played.
So whether this is true or not, when Pooh gets word of this, he is pissed. Like, man, what the fuck is wrong with Gucci Mane? Now I'm looking at you sideways, cause where is your loyalty to your artists? Do you not care about them at all? Is it all just about money for you? So here is where tension starts to grow from Pooh Shiesty towards Gucci. And from here, it only gets worse. Like I said earlier in the video, Gucci put a clause in the contract that if Pooh gets locked up or anything happens, he does not get his full money. So the entire time that Pooh Shiesty is locked up, he allegedly does not receive any money from his music. So while sitting in prison for nearly 4 big years, he's in there like, damn, this motherfucker owes me my money. And now we fast forward to his release, October 6, 2025. Pooh Shiesty is finally home and everyone is excited. And right off the bat, he drops an absolute banger.
FDO, FDO.
Of course, it goes viral. Actually, one of the first rap songs in a long time to get up in the charts. So unlike the rappers of the past who got out of prison and really couldn't get their buzz back, Pooh Shiesty was instantly right back on it. So after seeing that he still has the sauce, labels began to tap in. In fact, this is when, allegedly, Yo Gotti offers him $10 million to sign to his label and to leave 1017. Ooh-wee, it sounds good. But the problem is, he owes Gucci Mane 4 more albums. So he's stuck for a while, and on top of this is when he finds out that Gucci made over $25 million off his streams while he was locked up.
Oh, hell nah, bruh.
So you wanted Scar's chain back after he passed away, and now you're making all this money off me and didn't want to do me right? So this is when he, or his father, come up with a big master plan. January 10th, 2026. It's a big day for Gucci Mane as he and his crew are headed to Dallas. Why? Because this is where Pooh is doing his parole and he invited him to come to the studio.
Hey, man. Look, I know everything, everything messed up, but come to the studio, let's talk business.
Alright, let me stop. Long story short, Pooh Shiesty hits up Gucci like, hey bruh, let's talk business, let's get in the studio, make some hits, and get over our issues. So of course, Gucci is like, cool, and he, his cameraman, and his security guard fly out to Dallas. They arrive at 1 p.m. and they head to the address that Pooh provided. At 1 p.m., they arrive to the building that the studio is located, and of course, Pooh Shiesty isn't there. He's running late, so Gucci and his guys figure, hey, to kill time, let's head to a liquor store, grab some cups, grab some drinks, just to, set the vibe. So while they're doing this, our good friend Mob Boss, also known as Pooh Shiesty's father, is at Staples printing out a contract. What contract? Well, specifically a release form that releases Pooh Shiesty from 1017 Records. Well, while he's printing out the contract, Pooh Shiesty and Big 30 are planning exactly how they're gonna do it. It being convincing Gucci Mane to sign the contract. Well, finally, at 3:27 p.m., Pooh Shiesty and his guys arrive to the studio. They shake hands with Gucci and his crew, and together they all head upstairs. So they're all sitting down in the studio chopping it up when Pooh Shiesty gets a call. Who is it? His parole officer telling him that he needs to go home immediately. Overhearing the convo, Gucci's like, hey bruh, just go home, handle that, we'll go in the studio another time, I'll stay here in Dallas, don't even worry about it. But nah, Pooh Shiesty hangs up the phone call and says, nah bruh, it's all good, I ain't tripping off that. Wait, actually, bruh, Gucci, I just want to talk to you one-on-one. Let's go in this side room. So together, Pooh Shiesty and Gucci head off to the side room right next to the studio. And this is when Pooh Shiesty asks him a simple, straightforward question. Can you please release me from my contract? I don't want to be signed to 1017 anymore. And if not, can you give me my 20% that you owed me while I was in prison? This is when Gucci Mane pretty much responds, look bruh, I ain't got the money for you, let's just figure out these last 4 albums, that's it. I don't know what he expected, but Pooh Shiesty is not happy with the response. So this is when he allegedly signals to Big 30, and then Big 30 leaves, goes to the car, grabs a bag, and comes back upstairs. He returns to the meeting room with a duffel bag full of guns and with Pooh Shiesty's father. And this is allegedly when Pooh Shiesty's dad grabs a Draco out of the bag and ups it at Gucci.
Sign this contract or I'm blowing you down.
Mine. So under duress and the threat of his life being ended, Gucci signs the contract. Somehow they're able to pull this all off in a side room with no cameras and no evidence. Basically at this exact moment, they have a very high chance of getting away with this. Gucci can't really claim that he didn't actually sign the contract, because he's on camera shaking their hands, walking up to the studio with them, and everything seems amicable. And then because his crew were in the other room, he really has no witnesses to say that, hey, they forced me to do this. And if he did want to make this claim, he'd have to go the legal way and call the police and say, hey, they upped the gun at me and forced me to sign this, blah, 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 blah. Of course, in this twisted rap street culture, doing that makes you a snitch and makes your career pretty much over. So again, at this exact moment, Gucci Mane lost the deal. All Pooh Shiesty and his guys have to do is go on about their day like nothing happened, leave the studio, and then they're free. But no, this is when all of Pooh's crew whip out guns and begin robbing Gucci's crew at gunpoint. Cash, jewelry, music equipment, camera equipment, everything. They ransack them, run away from the studio, hop in their car, and speed away. All of this not knowing that Gucci's security guard is an off-duty police officer. So Pooh Shiesty, his crew, and his dad run off like,
yeah, we got out of the contract, we lit.
Not knowing that Gucci Mane and his crew went right to the police and they're cooking up an indictment. So for a few months, while Pooh Shiesty and his dad are feeling like geniuses, they have no idea what's right around the corner.
9 suspects involved in the robbery and kidnapping of rapper Gucci Mane have been arrested. Officials say the alleged ringleader behind the attack was rapper Pooh Shiesty. Our Preseda Olguin has been on top of this story and has the latest.
Aside from learning that the 9th and final suspect has been arrested, we've been able to obtain video which shows the FBI at Pooh Shiesty's home the day he was arrested. Take a look at that video. This happened in Memphis. Federal authorities say Shiesty was the ringleader behind the attack on Gucci Mane here in Dallas. That incident happened back in January at a music studio located off Dallas Parkway. The DOJ says Gucci Mane and 2 others were allegedly kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint. They say 9 people were involved, including Pooh Shiesty's father and Big 30. For background, Pooh Shiesty signed on to Gucci Mane's record label back in 2020. And according to the DOJ, Pooh Shiesty is the one who set up the meeting to discuss his recording contract.
As alleged, Williams Jr. produced an AK-style pistol and forced one of the victims to sign a release from the recording contract at gunpoint. The remaining conspirators displayed firearms and robbed the other victims of Rolex watches, jewelry, cash, and other high-value items.
Pooh Shiesty was released from federal prison in October and was placed on home confinement for a previous conviction, meaning that it's likely he was wearing an ankle monitor at the time of the crime. Officials say all 9 suspects will be transported here to North Texas, where they will face their crimes. Now, if convicted, each suspect can face life in prison. For now, reporting in Dallas, Preseda Olguin, CBS News, Texas.
Woo! So just like that, Pooh Shiesty, just 100 days after being released from prison, is right back in there and probably is going to spend the rest of his life in there. Ugh. Okay, so now I'm just curious what you think. Do you think it was his dad or him who came up with the plan? I mean, they're both 2 of the dumbest criminals in world history. But either way, let's just assume that Pooh Shiesty's career is done, at minimum, because he's at least going to be gone for 15 years. 10, 15, maybe 20, maybe 30. It's done. But instead, let's focus back on Gucci Mane, because a lot of people are criticizing him, saying that he's a snitch. Like, bro, you spent your whole career lecturing everyone on the streets and being
Mr.
solid,
Rogers,
and never snitching and doing
How
this, that,
dumb
and the
could you
dirt in
be?
the streets. But then, when you're a victim of the lifestyle you promoted,
Welcome
you
in,
go
by
to
the way.
police and be a civilian. In my opinion, you can't really pick and choose. You either have to be 100% civilian, or in the streets and deal with the consequences.
Mandy,
Of
welcome
course,
in.
the public figures would also feel these sentiments.
No, I'm not surprised
Thank
because
you for the
Gucci
heart being
gave
a popular
statements
vote.
when the whole Pookie Loc thing happened. Gucci pointed the finger at Jeezy, who was not charged at all, but he talked about motive. He talked about who had.
That's true. There's a video of Jeezy circling around talking about how
I get it.
Gucci gave a statement.
Yeah, absolutely. So it didn't surprise me because I thought that he was just going to use the security guard
y'all
to
hear
do all
me
the telling
okay,
for
too?
him as much as he possibly could. I didn't
Put
think
one
that he
in
was
the
going to
chat
actually
if
make
you
a
can.
statement himself.
He folded, y'all. If you think he didn't give corroborating testimony with his wife and whoever was done, Gucci had to put the police in, y'all. It's paperwork on Gucci, and ain't no paperwork on me. But Gucci, you a snitch. And you got a young. I want to tell everybody who's saying Pooh Shiesty crashed out. Now, when you a Jeep, you don't give a damn about going to jail. It's you frauds like Woody and Boosie and them who don't want to go to jail. When you really with the shit like, you heard what his mama said. My whole family went. Daddy, son. I thought those are the options when you from the streets, nigga. Jail or death. I thought that's all you get from the streets is jail or the graveyard.
Per usual, Charleston White bringing facts and logic to the table. But of course, Gucci Mane has his defenders as well.
And Roderick simply said, I can't do that. Now, the reason why I'm saying Roderick is because 1017 is a corporate entity. He got a call from his employee that he wanted to meet and go over some business at work. Can he book some studio time? And Roderick did that, took a flight, brought his camera guy, his one security. Pooh Shiesty wouldn't have never tried that with Gucci Mane.
With pregnant Gucci Mane.
Gucci, he wouldn't have tried that.
Right, but pregnant Gucci, that was the,
He wouldn't have tried
that was the most dangerous version of him.
His whole surroundings say that wouldn't be smart. It's gonna be some violence, right?
Because
the mental gymnastics of, okay, but actually, Gucci Mane is a snitch, and maybe that's fine, maybe that's not, but he's a snitch. And according to him himself, he would rather die than become a snitch.
I have never snitched on nobody. I never wrote a statement on one, and I never will. That's how I feel. Cause I'm a true G. I never snitch on a nigga. Where we from, we won't do that. If I gotta go, I'm gonna go. I done went before. I don't always snitch on a nigga.
Mamacita, welcome in. Happy Sunday.
Nobody's life, not even my own. I die.
Obviously that's old, so maybe
Thank
he
you
was
for the
just
harmony.
immature at the time, but he did say it, and since then he's never said, I'm done with the streets, I denounce it. Just listen to this guy talk about it.
You gotta denounce what you used to promote, because then people know that you've drawn your line in the sand. Hey, I used to be pushing this.
Love
I
you
used
so
to be
much,
pushing
and the
this no
golden boxing
snitching
gloves.
stuff
Thank you.
and this drug dealing stuff and and killing people. But man, I'm not on that no more. I'm all the way off that. When you draw your line in the sand, then people can't get mad when you do things that grown, mature people do, which is, man, I'm not finna sit here and be silent if somebody held a gun to my head and if somebody tried to stick me up and rob me and try to kill me. But when you don't draw that line in the sand, and I think with Gucci, I think people are feeling like, oh, he snitched because he's still supposed to be held liable for the Gucci he was 20 years ago. This man is grown, married, has kids, has written a book about his mental health struggles and how he's overcome them.
Honestly, he makes a fair point. But what do you guys think? Should Gucci be held liable to the street codes because that's what he pushed his whole freaking life? Or is it like, hey man, you're mature now, you ain't gotta do all that? Well, to get away from the snitching topic, let's get back to Pooh Shiesty and just say,
Kiss their
my
cheek.
goodness, what a dumb dude. And his dad, boy, the apple does not fall far from the tree. Well, with that being said, that's gonna do it for this video. And if you enjoyed it,
All right,
please,
nice. Shout out to
please
Swamp
leave a comment.
Stories.
Let me know what you want
We're
to
gonna keep it going though. The next video is called
When
Serial
you're going
Killer
out to kill
Vlogs,
somebody,
His Murder Spree.
if you're seen
Shout out to
by a single other
EWU,
person on
Ewu
the
Crew.
trail, then that day's screwed.
In Cherokee County, Georgia, a sheriff's deputy stops to question a man parked on private hunting lands. At worst, the man
you for
is
the
guilty
shares,
of
Mamacita.
trespassing, or so the deputy thinks as he approaches.
Good, yourself, sir? What you doing out here? Well, you're the fourth person to come along. Am I? And asked me that. I guess they called you, didn't they? Yes, they did. I just wanted a place to camp because I'm on my way to cut. I'm leaving. As a matter of fact, I'm getting my
GG,
master's
what's
up.
going
I
on?
bought some math right now. That's why I just came out.
Yeah, we've been watching them every day together lately. Glad you're here.
I see that.
But behind this man's friendly demeanor is a calculating predator hiding bloody secrets and a lengthening trail of bodies.
Life has been sweet. We gotta document it.
Look, I'm taking a picture, what I'm come for immortality right here.
If there's deer hunters around there, I can be wearing a purple shirt, that red backpack, and they're gonna tell me I'm gonna get shot. But, you know, that's a common threat.
When you say, I won't kill anyone today, we'll just go hiking with my dog, have fun. We're doomed anyway.
I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here. God almighty. Can I get your ID real quick? Yeah, you sure can. And it's in a, you see that fanny pack right there? Yeah. Are there any weapons in that fanny pack? Absolutely not. And I'm going to bring it to you.
Hell yeah,
The
GG. I
deputy
love to hear
follows the
that,
man
honestly.
back to his van, never suspecting for a moment that he is in the presence of a cold-blooded monster who
Layla,
was
baby,
killed
what's
before
going on?
and whose thirst for violence has not been quenched.
Happy
And when
Sunday,
you get down
man.
to the bitter end, you ignore all the rules you set, which I did.
Oh, I do have an Hispanic conlang right there. Don't get nervous.
The following report is based on official police records, and most of the footage has never been seen before until now. The first sign of trouble in Leon County, Florida comes when 46-year-old nurse Cheryl Dunlap doesn't show up for her Sunday
Thank you
school
for that, Hardy
class.
love.
But it's not
Appreciate you.
until she misses work at Florida State University the next day, December 3rd, 2007, that her friend reports her missing. Her adult son goes by her house, hoping to find an innocent explanation.
The dog was still in there. What was your first thoughts? This ain't good. She's been missing for 2 days and that dog is still in there. That dog is everywhere with her. And if she's not taking it, she makes arrangements for it to be taken care of. Now, that dog was my brother, if you will.
Police soon realized that no one in Cheryl's life has heard from her since the morning of December 1st, 2 days earlier, when she told a friend she was going to the library. She was logged into the Wakulla County Public Library's computer system at 9:45 that morning, and she cashed a check for $100 at 11:15 a.m. After that, police know nothing. They ask her friends if she might have suddenly decided to leave it all behind.
She wanted to travel. Literally, her actual words was, she said, Laura, she said, I really want some adventure in my life. But she also said that she wanted them through missions. The first thing that comes to mind when I think about Cheryl is godly. You hear about people that are Christians, but she was the type person that she really, really, really tried to live this Christian life. I mean, the way the Bible said.
The idea that Cheryl walked away from her job, her friends, and her 2 sons doesn't seem likely, and the likelihood dims that afternoon when Cheryl's car is found parked off the road near Leon Sinks Geological Park. It's been abandoned. There's no sign of Cheryl or anyone else.
Then we got the call that said they found the car while we were there at the house. So we went there. And I just sat there watching them process it for a little while. And I had heard over the radio that there was a foul odor coming from the trunk. So I wanted to go to see myself if it was or wasn't. So I stood around there and I couldn't smell nothing. So.
But there are troubling signs. Her purse and keys remain in the vehicle. Her belongings are scattered across the seat, and one of the rear tires is flat. When police take a closer look, alarm bells begin to sound. The tire appears to have been deliberately punctured. Signs of foul play are mounting, and it has Cheryl's friends in turmoil.
I've lost a brother suddenly. I've lost a sister. I've lost my mom and dad. And nothing has shaken me like this. Absolutely nothing.
Her son, meanwhile, reflects on a memory he fears may haunt him forever.
I started trying to call her and ask her opinions about what I should do with my life. She didn't have her phone on that day. And I was outside building a pen when she called back. And I told her I couldn't talk or anything.
How long ago was this?
A couple of weeks ago.
That was the last time you talked to her?
I didn't even talk to her.
But that's the last time you heard from her?
Cheryl Dunlap's picture is splashed across the local media. A couple reports seeing her at Leon Sinks on the afternoon of December 1st, sitting on a bench reading a book. From that point forward, her whereabouts are unknown. That is, until police learn from Cheryl's bank that her ATM card has been used 5 times between December 2nd and December 4th to make withdrawals totaling more than $700.
So if someone used the card, they would have to know it, or or either get it from her. It wouldn't be where they could just look at it, see it.
No. Probably the only way that she gave up that PIN number was either they threatened her life or her grandbaby's lives.
Investigators head to the bank's main branch to see if there's video, while also looking to the public for help.
Do you remember seeing a gentleman that might have roused your suspicion at all?
No, there's a lot of people come in here that rouses my suspicion. I look at every one of them.
Police have a long investigation in front of them, but what they see at Cheryl's bank makes it clear that there's no time to waste. In video of her recent ATM transactions, detectives see what they feared most. It's not Cheryl Dunlap using the ATM, but a shadowy figure wearing a disturbing homemade mask. Investigators note that the man is tall and thin, but that's not a lot to go on, even for those who know Cheryl best.
Any suspicions as far as people?
I can't imagine anybody. I mean, my mom's that type that everybody loves her. She doesn't have any enemies. She's not a Lulu that she just go disappearing. Even the description of the guy on the ATM machine, I can't think of anybody out of description. Skinny, tall, lanky. Can't think of anybody.
The identity of the man behind the mask remains a mystery, but a month later, more than 300 miles to the north, another woman would suddenly vanish. And this time, the monster wouldn't stay in the shadows. On January 1st, 2008, a 24-year-old Georgia woman named Meredith Emerson leaves a note for her roommate before heading off on a hike with her black lab, Ella. When she still hasn't returned by the next morning, her roommate files a report with the Union County Sheriff's Office. Meredith's boyfriend goes looking for her car, which he finds in one of the parking lots at Blood Mountain, one of Meredith's favorite hiking spots. He leaves a note on her car, and with the eventual help of friends and police, begins searching the trails and the surrounding wilderness. Soon news of her disappearance is statewide, as an investigator with the Dawson County Public Defender's Office told EWU.
Did it sound weird?
Here because where she went missing is not far from here. So the county was put on full alert. I mean, we were aware of the case probably.
What does it sound like?
Was declared missing.
But despite the intense search effort, there's no sign of Meredith. Investigators talked to
distorted, you say? Anybody else think it sounds distorted?
Day, and it turns out they noticed something else as well. An older man lurking nearby.
Yeah, swipe in and swipe out or swipe back in,
across a
GG.
suspicious scene a few minutes after seeing the two. A disturbed portion of the hiking trail, as if there had been a struggle. Left behind on the ground were several items, including water bottles, a dog leash, and most ominously of all, an expandable police baton. Witnesses described the man they saw with Meredith, a 60-year-old white male, around 5 foot 10 inches, 160 pounds. And they mentioned another fact as well. He had a large reddish dog with him. Police
It might be
share
the
these
video.
details with the local media, and the tips start rolling in. Could this man be responsible for Meredith's
TikTok heard.
disappearance? Could he even be the same sinister figure seen taking money out of Cheryl Dunlap's bank account a month earlier? The cases are eerily similar. Two women alone by themselves on national forest land, and now both of them missing. In Leon County, Florida, the tips in Cheryl's case.
It's the video. Oh, it's acting the same on YouTube. Heard.
Ran into this man and his white van, and his dog started barking at us. A big dog, kind of reddish, brownish hair, long hair, I guess.
Again and again, witnesses come forward to describe a very specific man they saw in the area, and most of them agree that it was late November 2007, only days before Cheryl Dunlap went missing.
And we saw an old man, skinny.
Warm.
I remember he was skinny, looked homeless, walking towards us.
A gentleman was standing in front of it and said hello, and he engaged in conversation. Immediately I noticed stuff strewn around the campsite, and the most prominent thing was a beautiful dark red Irish setter.
Okay, Chi.
With his dog.
Hope it sounds better soon.
Approached me coming out of the woods, and it made me nervous.
I don't know why it's doing
He had
that.
this big long knife strapped to his side. The dog was looked like a golden retriever, but it was like a dark rust color.
Probably 5'9", 5'10". He's an older man.
Struck me in the face.
I'm dropping frames.
Cut the teeth in the front.
He gave me the creeps when I saw him.
He weirded us out so much that, I mean, I was just joking, completely joking around when I said this, but when we left, I was like, man, that guy's killed like 10 people.
An older man, a white van, a red dog. The details coming in are consistent, first in Florida and then a month later in the Georgia mountains. But it's not until a businessman named John Tabor hears the news that police are finally able to put a name to this phantom. Tabor calls the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's tip line and says the man they're looking for used to work for him selling house siding, right up until the day he demanded money and threatened to kill him. The man drives a white Chevrolet Astro van, and he has a red golden retriever he calls Dandy. His name, Tabor tells them, is Gary Michael Hilton. And that's when things start to move very quickly. Armed with this new information, the GBI finds Hilton's driver's license records in the system.
Welcome
and they
in,
send
love.
out an updated Be on the Lookout report to law enforcement
Happy
and
Sunday.
the general public that includes his name and photograph. Hilton is labeled a person of interest in Meredith Emerson's disappearance, and investigators hope to find him before it's too late. Unfortunately, in the Florida case of Cheryl Dunlap, hope has already run out.
I drove up in there to where I like to walk the dogs in, and I seen some buzzards fly up just right beside the road.
On December 15th, 2007, 14 days after Cheryl Dunlap was last seen, a hunter comes upon a tragic discovery in the forest.
I told my son to stay in the truck to, let me see what the buzzard was doing. And I walked out there, and it appeared to be a human body. At first, all I could see was just maybe the torso. I didn't see a head. All I could see was from maybe neck to waist. Okay. And I thought it was a deer to start with.
Thank you for the
When
harmony,
I looked at
Michelle.
it, I seen the leg and the foot sticking out, and I knew what it was then.
The body is nude and is already significantly decomposed. It is found deep in the forest off the main roads.
It appeared to have been somebody tried to cover it up.
Police find the body covered in tree limbs and palmetto fronds from the surrounding woods, but that's not enough to hide the damage that has been done to this woman. Her hands have been removed. Her nipples have been cut off. She's been decapitated and left out here to rot. Because of the advanced
cuts off somebody's
decomposition in the missing
nipples?
head, the medical examiner could only label the cause of death as undetermined homicidal violence. 4 days later, the Leon County Sheriff's Office holds a press conference to announce the grim news the community had feared. The body in the woods belongs to Cheryl Dunlap. Authorities in Georgia are desperate to catch up to Gary Hilton before the same
Cheryl.
fate befalls Meredith Emerson. On January 4th, 3 days since her disappearance, there's a development. A black lab is spotted walking into a Kroger supermarket in Cumming, Georgia. It's chipped, and before the day is through, they've identified it as Ella, Meredith's dog. When Meredith's father speaks to the press, he says, "We're happy that Ella has been found, but Meredith is still out there." Later that day, a woman reports that Gary Hilton called her wanting money. The return number comes from a payphone, and police quickly track it to a Quick Trip in Cumming, just across the street from where Ella was found. They process the payphone for evidence, but it's what they find in the nearby dumpster that gives them a shock. A woman's purse, bloody clothing, and a wallet with identification cards inside. The driver's license and student ID cards belong to Meredith Emerson. If the hunt for Gary Hilton could ever become more intense, it just did. And that night, police get the 911 calls they've been hoping for.
Hi, I'm calling from Cambridge Square Shopping Center, and I'm calling about that person, Gary Hilton, in connection with the one that's missing.
A man matching Gary Hilton's description has been spotted at a Chevron station in Chamblee, Georgia, approximately 30 miles south of Cumming.
I'm walking my dog, and at the gas station up here, there's a white van and a red dog wandering around, like his red dog.
It's definitely him. The van is there. The dog is there. I saw his face.
He's got a whole bunch of stuff he's pulling out, like he's living out of his van, pulling out and organizing his stuff in his van.
He's throwing stuff in the dumpster here. He's making multiple trips back to his van and gets out and taking it to a dumpster. 114, it's hard to go around to that location. It'll be obvious. It's definitely him. He's looking around like he is as guilty as sin.
He's got to be gone if somebody doesn't get here.
I can go take him down if you want. No, there, stay right there. Okay.
He said, "I can go take him down if you want."
Oh, I'm just shaking. Here we go. Here comes the cop.
Bro is ready.
Yeah, police are there. Yes. Yes. They got him.
Hilton goes flat on the ground immediately and is taken into custody. The police also secure his van and his now famous red dog, Dandy. But while the arrest goes off without a hitch, Every officer on scene can see for themselves the unsettling truth. Meredith Emerson is nowhere to be found. Hilton is taken to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, where he lies prone on the floor, unwilling to cooperate and complaining of pain from multiple sclerosis.
Mr. Hilton, my name's Clay Bridges. I'm a special agent with the GBI. Over the past couple of days, I've come to know you pretty good. I've spoken with numerous people who say that you're extremely healthy, extremely smart, very intelligent, almost genius level. I would prefer to talk to you if you were kind of sitting up and I could look at you a little bit. And I understand that you're a distance runner and that you know, a very healthy individual.
With Hilton unwilling to answer questions, the agent says something that is perhaps intended to get a reaction.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a whole lot warmer down here than it was up on Blood Mountain.
But Hilton doesn't take the bait, and neither the GBI nor the doctors can get him to talk.
We're going to take really good care of you, okay? Basically, already have. Yes, sir. Do you feel like you've been mistreated?
Yes, I have.
When was the last time you had a good meal?
I'm through talking to you. I'm making those statements. I don't want to be interrogated anymore.
Well, if you don't want to talk to me, then I'm going to make the decision that right now you're not an immediate life threat and that you could possibly stay here with these gentlemen, continue doing with them what they need to do with you, okay?
Put me back in the handcuffs.
There are many signs that Hilton has been in an altercation, including a cut on his nose and a badly swollen right hand. GBI agent Clay Bridges leaves Hilton with a final thought.
Remember what I told you about that? About Meredith? You need to go ahead and just tell us where she's at, okay? There's no much more in your face. Aside from it being the right thing to do.
Hilton isn't moved by this appeal to his conscience, which is perhaps not surprising if he's the man guilty of killing Cheryl Dunlap in Florida. And the evidence is growing. The tips keep coming in Leon County, and police search campsites near where Hilton was reportedly seen. At one, they make a horrifying discovery: a burn pit, amongst which they find charred finger bones and skull fragments.
Goodness. We just lost sound. Hold on. Did that.
Oh, yeah. These home videos
Thank
give
you for letting me know,
investigators an
Michelle.
unprecedented
Appreciate you.
look into the life of a violent drifter.
I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, he's just a real red, and he has that Irish confirmation also. Okay, come on, honey. Let's get good boy. Now you got to stay out here. Okay, now we're going to get ready after he's greeted, and we'll be all happy. You got to stay right here, Wawa. You do.
The police will soon discover much darker recordings
Shy.
on the
Appreciate
memory
it, ladies.
sticks. For now, they charge Gary Hilton with kidnapping in the Meredith Emerson case. It remains to be seen if additional charges will follow. As police transport Hilton to the Union County Jail in Georgia, his attitude has improved, but his willingness to answer questions about Meredith's whereabouts has not.
You guys are pissed at me, so hey, I ain't. You get the cops pissed off, man. You must be bad.
All right, now you ain't gonna do nothing squirrely on
Oh,
us, right?
yeah, like I can whip you.
Little swirly.
He's sitting there with one gun in the holster and the other in his seat. I mean, Jesus Christ. He's gonna turn around and cap me. I am okay? Totally. I was trying to figure out who I was gonna give my dog to before I turned myself in. I saw the paper. I caught the paper.
You're going to turn yourself
This should probably work right here.
I saw
Hold
the
on.
paper. I saw
It's
that.
for y'all.
I saw I was on the front page of the paper. You know.
It didn't seem like you were going to turn yourself in.
Well, hey, you know something? I'm making statements.
Got
and I
it.
ain't
Finally.
making no statements.
Finally,
But Hilton's
that's for
position
y'all.
on answering questions will soon shift, and
I have
agents
heart
with the
powers
Georgia
now.
Bureau of Investigation will finally get a deep look into one of the most sinister minds they've ever come in contact with. In hours of interviews, they'll begin to piece together
Thank
what
you,
happened
Michelle.
to Meredith that day on Blood Mountain, and what they hear from Gary Hilton changes everything.
Since I was 4 years old, my earliest thoughts were of death. I said, you know something, no one's even missed you. And she said, boy, I'd be mad if once you let me go, and I came back and my boyfriend said, have you been gone? I spent 3 days with her. We had long talks about everything. I gave her a book to read. It was kind of like the Lone Ranger. And the Lone Ranger would come galloping into town. They would always say,
who was that masked man?
Yeah, who was that masked man? Okay, that's what I do to society.
Hilton admits that some of what is driving him to talk is the kidnapping charge, which he believes will likely put him away for the rest of his life.
They had me on the kidnapping, and it was going to stick. The evidence was good.
Do me a favor, y'all.
Right out
Let
of the
me know if you can hear
dumpster.
this.
It was just a smoking gun. They had me.
The investigators take a low-pressure approach to the interviews, which gives Hilton all the room he needs to expand on every topic he can think of, including his history of
Did y'all hear that?
conflicts with the other dog owners he meets while hiking.
The average dog owner doesn't know jack about dogs. The average animal control officer doesn't know jack about dogs. They anthropomorphize. That means assigning human qualities to something. Anthropomorphic. Okay? And they assign human qualities to dogs. And what that means is that they want dogs to be like humans, which is be nice and get along. Well, that's not the way it is in the dog world. Because when dogs talk to each other, you know, they quite often revert back to the wolf world. And the wolf world is more incredibly savage and brutal than you can ever imagine. Humans don't understand
The hell is this dude
that
talking
in the
about?
dog world or the wolf world, there are no assault and battery laws. There are no murder laws. And quite often, there is no fear. Okay, imagine such a world where there's no murder laws.
Before Hilton can go too deeply into his fantasy of a world without laws, he explains how to handle confrontations with dogs and their owners.
My goal in a stick fight with a human or a dog is not to make contact with a dog. A successful stick fight is preventative. To me, is shaping it with a stick and not making contact. Because it takes it to a whole other level when you make, especially with a human being. You hit a human being with a stick, regardless of the situation, it's probably going to ruin your day, buddy. And it may not go your way either, even though it always has. I've had the police call on me 30 times at least, and no exaggeration, in 17 years.
Hilton's history with the police is well documented, and not all of it concerns other dogs.